Imagine turning on the TV in the 1960s, when color was just starting to dazzle screens and sitcoms ruled American living rooms. These shows weren't just entertainment, they shaped culture, introduced unforgettable characters, and set the stage for decades of comedy to follow. In fact, the behind-the-scenes stories of 1960s sitcoms are just as entertaining as the shows themselves. Today, we're diving into 10 amazing fun facts about 1960s sitcoms that will make you see this golden era of television in a whole new light. Number 1. Gilligan's Island theme song almost had a completely different cast introduction. First, let's talk about Gilligan's Island. The theme song originally didn't even mention the Professor and Mary Ann. Instead, the lyrics lumped them together as the rest. Can you imagine? Fans loved the characters so much that after the first season, the opening was changed to include them by name. Now here's the fun twist. The decision was made partly because actress Dawn Wells, who played Mary Ann, and Russell Johnson, who played the Professor, had a growing fan base that demanded recognition. It's a perfect example of audience power shaping television history. So, the next time you hum along to a 3-hour tour, remember, those lyrics you know so well were the result of fans insisting on fairness. Number 2. Bewitched had real sparks flying on set. On Bewitched, Elizabeth Montgomery, who played Samantha, was actually married to producer William Asher. That marriage meant she had a strong influence on the show, including storylines and even casting decisions. The chemistry you see on screen wasn't just Hollywood magic. It was a real-life partnership behind the scenes. But here's the catch. That same real-life marriage was sometimes rocky, which added an odd layer of tension during filming. Imagine acting in love scenes while dealing with personal drama off camera. It made for some fascinating behind-the-scenes dynamics, and here's the lasting impression. Even with personal challenges, Montgomery's charm and wit carried the show into television history, proving that real-life complications can still create on-screen magic. Number 3. The Munsters car became an icon all its own. The Munsters wasn't just about spooky comedy. It had one of the coolest cars ever built for TV, the Munster Koach. Designed by legendary car customizer George Barris, the Koach was 18 feet long and cost around $18,000 to build. A huge sum in the 1960s, what's fascinating is how the car itself became a star. Fans would show up at events just to see it, and magazines covered its design as if it were a Hollywood celebrity. It was so popular that a second hot rod, Dracula, was also created for the show. So, while Herman Munster may have been the goofy dad, his ride made him the envy of car lovers everywhere. Please show your support for the channel by subscribing, liking the video, and hitting the notifications bell so that you never miss a new video. Number 4. The Addams Family theme was snapped into history. The Addams Family theme song is one of the most instantly recognizable in TV history, and it's all thanks to finger snaps. Composer Vic Mizzy wanted something simple, catchy, and just a little spooky, so he used the idea of 2 snaps in rhythm. But here's the quirky detail. Mizzy actually sang the lyrics himself for the demo, and the network loved it so much they kept his voice for the final version. That means the spooky sing-song voice you hear is the composer himself, and of course, the snaps turned into a pop culture signature. Decades later, people still instantly recognize the tune with just a couple of clicks of the fingers. Number 5. I Dream of Jeannie's bottle wasn't really magic. Barbara Eden's famous bottle in I Dream of Jeannie wasn't a Hollywood invention. It was actually a repurposed 1964 Jim Beam whiskey decanter that set designers decorated to look mystical and exotic. The production team hand-painted it with colorful designs, giving it that magical aura. Each season, it was touched up or redesigned slightly, creating subtle variations fans sometimes notice. What's fun is that collectors today treasure replicas and even originals of the bottle, turning what was once just a prop into a piece of TV history worth thousands. Number 6. Green Acres was a satire hiding in plain sight. On the surface, Green Acres seemed like a silly fish-out-of-water comedy about a city couple moving to the country. But underneath the laughs, it was actually a parody of American consumerism and modernization. Writers often slipped in absurdist humor, including talking animals, surreal one-liners, and situations that made fun of the clash between city ambition and rural simplicity. It was smarter than most audiences realized at the time. So, while people tuned in for the laughs, Green Acres was quietly making commentary about life in America, proving sitcoms could be both entertaining and sharp. Number 7. My Favorite Martian predicted future tech. In My Favorite Martian, Uncle Martin had a spaceship with gadgets that looked silly in the 1960s, but some of them ended up predicting real-world inventions. His wristwatch communicator looked suspiciously like the smartwatches we use today. The show's playful use of antennas and gadgets sparked imaginations of young viewers, some of whom grew up to become scientists and engineers. It's a reminder of how pop culture can inspire innovation. So, next time you ask your smartwatch a question, give a little nod to Uncle Martin for thinking of it first. Number 8. Hogan's Heroes had a cast with real war ties. Hogan's Heroes was a comedy set in a German POW camp, but behind the laughs, the show's cast had deep personal connections to World War II. Robert Clary, who played Corporal LeBeau, was actually a Holocaust survivor. Other cast members like Werner Klimper, who played Colonel Klink, and John Boehner, who played Sergeant Schultz, were Jewish actors who fled Nazi Germany and Austria before the war. This gave the show a strange but powerful authenticity, as the actors were using comedy to process real historical trauma, turning satire into resilience. Number 9. The Dick Van Dyke Show almost didn't happen. Today, The Dick Van Dyke Show is considered one of the greatest sitcoms ever, but its pilot episode completely flopped. The original star wasn't Dick Van Dyke at all, but creator Carl Reiner himself. CBS executives weren't impressed, so the show was retooled with Van Dyke and Mary Tyler Moore creating the magical chemistry we all know today. It's one of the best examples of how a second chance can change TV history. Without that switch, we might never have had one of television's most influential comedies. Number 10. Star Trek's Laughter Experiment. Believe it or not, when Star Trek first aired in the 1960s, NBC executives actually considered adding a laugh track to the show, just like other sitcoms of the era. They thought audiences wouldn't get it without hearing when to laugh. Fortunately, creator Gene Roddenberry fought hard to keep the show serious and cinematic, and the laugh track idea was dropped. Imagine Spock delivering his logical lines with canned laughter in the background. It's wild to think how close we came to losing the tone of one of the most groundbreaking shows in history. And there you have it, 10 amazing fun facts about 1960s sitcoms, each one proving that the golden age of television was full of surprises, experiments, and cultural breakthroughs. These shows weren't just silly comedies, they were bold, inventive, and sometimes ahead of their time. So the next time you hear a theme song or catch a rerun, remember, you're not just watching TV, you're watching history in action.